Well,
And I can't believe that Thrawn already died. Morning, everyone, and welcome to the Hobby Breakfast Show podcast, kicking off your mornings with Wargaming Chat. Your hosts, as always, are myself, Onod. I'm also joined by OT.
Hello.
And the Mayor.
hello, everyone.
And today we have a bumper-filled episode of stuff. We're going to be doing the regular hobby and news. We are also going to be doing a tier list of unnamed good heroes, and we'll make up what we're going to do later as to how we're ranking them. So stay tuned for that excitement. Hobby. Oh, so much hobby this month. I mean, OT has fucking done like a year's worth of hobby.
In 4 days. And then stopped.
Yes. OT, you might as well kick us off then with the just absolute shed load of stuff.
I actually don't know fully what I've painted this month. I think I've done like 20 something Ewoks.
Yeah, it was about that.
I think it was 22 Ewoks, which were a mixture of the 3D printed ones I've mentioned before and the official Ewok box and the Ewok commanders with Logray and Wicket. I've got to say, I was a little disappointed with the actual sculpts. I think maybe they are sort of accurate in like a scale sense compared to the rest of the characters in that they are really quite small. But I think they run into a bit of the problem we've said about GW models. Obviously, these aren't GW models, but they have the problem where like the details are a bit small and a bit finicky. And it just wasn't quite as rewarding. Whereas for the 3D printed ones, because they were a bit chunkier and the details were a bit easier to pick out, I actually had a much nicer time painting those.
I feel like it's slightly different to the GW issue though, in that you're just complaining because they're minuscule rather than that they have like 2,000 skulls on them.
Yeah, I think Logray and Logray is a little bit overdone. I think he has a bit too much detail, but yeah, the other ones are just small. But yeah, I got bored with the official ones because they're all quite similar sculpts. So I messed around with the arms and I gave one of them like 2 slings. I'd like to imagine he spins around like a Beyblade and throws stones out. Yes. So that I think that was like 2 days I took to paint those because I've made this rule where I'm not allowed to buy new stuff until I've finished painting the old stuff. So that allowed me to then buy the stuff that I was going to paint next, which was the Ruffians for the upcoming Scouring of the Shire. What are we calling it? Narratives campaign, I guess is what it is.
I believe that the description.
Yeah. So I've done 12 Ruffians. What are they? The Frostgrave soldiers, aren't they, Onod? Those are the ones that we used?
Yes. Because, we're not made money, jeez.
No, we can't actually afford to fucking buy normal Ruffians. I really enjoyed painting these. Like, the level of customization with the Frostgrave stuff is really cool. They're really good value. And yeah, just like a really like good experience to paint those. And then, because I was bored and I've never done them before and I've never done monsters before, I bought eagles and I've painted them up as well. Unfortunately for Onod's precious model count, they only count for 2. Insert Gimli meme here. But they were actually really fun to do. And I think they're probably the best models I've ever painted. Like, I think I'm really happy with the end effect I've got on them, and like the dry brushing on the wings has seemed to come out really well. I've done like a bit of a blend from the head into the feathers and stuff like that, which took a little bit of time. So yeah, really pleased with those. But yeah, long and the short of it is, I think me and Onod worked out earlier, I've painted like 47 models this month or something.
Yeah, that's what we came to.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty productive hobby month for me.
The eagles are very nice. I've seen them in and they're good.
Yeah. It's slightly unfortunate in that I moved house after I painted them, so I had to basically wrap them in cotton wool the entire way, and I was in constant fear that they were going to snap because they are pretty finicky to move around.
But, you know, you're come up with some sort of transportation solution.
Yeah. Shame they can't actually fly. But yeah, I'm really hoping to take them to a tournament quite soon because I've never really used any kind of models like that. And I've cooked up a Thorrence company list for them to go in, which I'm really excited to use at a tournament near you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they'll appear on the channel at some point as well.
Yeah.
We'll go on to my hobby. I'm gonna go through by game, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, wow. He's diversified. Why did none of you watch the Onod's history video thing? I was gonna call out call out the audience.
Fucking ungrateful prick.
What do you mean it's a game you don't play and you're not interested in history? Fuck you.
Jeez. Right. Anyway, so Star Wars Legion. I painted right at the beginning of the month the remainder of my Wookiee unit. So yes, they're something to paint, aren't they?
Yeah. Jeez.
They're a bit dull.
Yeah,
but I got them done. I then painted 6 clone troopers. So this rounds off all of the clones that I need for 800 points. So 5 more regular dudes and another medic.
Do you now have 3 units?
Medics OP. I do now have 3 units. Yeah.
Jeez. With all with clone medics after our experience in
2 with clone medics and then one
with a clone commander, presumably.
That's right, for the surge tokens. Yeah.
You filthy power gamer, you.
I know. I'm just. What can I say? I also painted Chewbacca, who was a bit disappointing.
I found exactly the same. I painted him and I thought he was just bang average.
Chewbacca of the eye sockets.
Yeah.
And slightly doesn't fit together arm socket as well. But
yeah, you have to. I had to sand a bit off basically and then like jam it back in.
Mine wasn't quite that bad. I think the super glue ended up hiding the
nice
crack.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to get the milli put out like I have for a Helm Hammer Hand, but that will be a future story as I haven't painted him quite yet. And then the last thing that I've painted for Star Wars Legion this month is tiny little Grogu. Oh, chef's kiss. Mwah.
Have you done Mando yet, or is it just Grogu?
I almost have done a Mando, but he'll be on next month's pod now.
Are you gonna have time? You've got a very strict schedule. You need to stay on task. We've talked about this.
No, it's okay. I've been painting Hobbits too, Master. please give me my time.
Fucking Oliver Twist.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Fucking beating me into like.
I've landed up painting like 30 fucking ruffians, and now the ruffian heroes, which you said you couldn't do.
Yeah, but you're a masochist. You enjoy it. Grogu was great fun to paint.
Yeah,
he looks really good.
He's cute.
I really enjoy painting these tiny models with no detail. Like,
yeah,
they're quite satisfying. So that was all my Legion painting. For Lord of the Rings, I have painted. I've done Rohan Royal Guard, just one, who was a tester for what my colour scheme is going to be. It's not a very unique colour scheme. It's green.
But then I think Rohan, the basic Rohan scheme, just looks good, and like I wouldn't really want to mess around with it too much.
No, I was going to mess around with it, and then I just couldn't be asked, so I didn't. So yeah, at some point I'm going to have to start chunking my way through the rest of the Royal Guards. I just haven't quite got myself around to doing it yet. I also then, for Scanning the Shire, I've been painting up Harry Goatleaf and Barliman Butterbur. Although they're not actually in the campaign as such, the first scenario has Breeland villagers, so they're going to be making some little cameos.
Nice.
In Bree. And then finally, for Lord of the Rings this month, I've painted Eladan and Elrohir to go my Grey Company list, which
I forgot about them.
Takes me up to 800 points, which is exciting. I think that means that this is now my most pointy list. Is that how do you say that?
Yeah, no, that was good. No, that was good.
That was
leave that in.
Yeah, that doesn't need correcting. No. And then finally, I painted 2 Bows and Badgers miniatures. I'm so nearly done now. I think I have 2 more miniatures left, and I've painted all of them.
Nice.
So I did the Wildcat with Big Axe for my street gang. He is going to be the only competent member, I think.
What of your of the Red Wings
the red
shitheads?
Red gang, the fucking idiots. He's going to be the only one with decent stats. Basically.
Okay.
I painted this big albino rat, who's going to be like the baddie, I guess.
Cool.
Nice.
And then finally, I painted some epic Waterloo Napoleonic dragoons, some French dragoons, and they there as well. So there you go, lots of stuff. Not quite as efficient as you.
No.
But you know.
But that's advisable, I think. I don't think it's healthy to paint that many miniatures in that little amount of time.
No, agreed. Mayor, what have you done for hobby this month?
Excuse me. Well, not very much painting, but I have done quite a fair bit of hobby. I've played, been to a tournament this month, to a GBHL 100. I played a total of 9 games this month, 6 of which were at the tournament, 2 of which were with you two, and 1 of which was a practice game. Almost finished painting some B2 battle droids and Darth Maul and a T-Series tactical droid, but didn't quite manage it.
Didn't you almost finish painting them last month?
Was that last month?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yes.
This morning I did a dry brush over them, so, you know, there's
so
that.
there.
It's last month where Mayor promised that he'd have finished them by this month.
Oh, no. I also built Separatist tank and all the other droids that came with the T-Series kind of expansion packs that I bought. So there's like 8 droids in there. So apparently just lies is what I've been up to.
Wow.
Spinning a web of deceit.
Yeah. No, it's been a busy month for me, unfortunately, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to actually get on some proper hobby very soon.
There we go. What a hobby section that was. I feel like now we do it monthly, we maybe have too much to talk about, but never mind.
Well, depends who you are.
Some of us do. I swear, it's going to be really weird. In like 3 months, I'm going to have caught you both up on the chart.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Think about this.
It's genuinely not possible.
Well, that was a great discussion. We'll be back in a second with a tier list that you are all here to actually listen to. And we'll put
allegedly
a handy timestamp in so that none of you listen to this bit.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So we are back with the tier list of Doom, the unnamed good heroes. We don't think we've missed one. If we have, we'll probably realise at some point in the recording. Please save your angry comments till the end.
They've already made the comments. It's too late. As soon as you started the sentence.
They've already told us that we're pricks, and they're right.
Yeah.
So
but they didn't have to say it.
We're going with our patented. We're slightly different to every other YouTube channel, so we have a slightly different ranking system list of ranks. With top being legendary, bottom being whiff, and then you can see what the other 3 are: fantastic, solid, and average. I can't be bothered to explain what they are. We'll just kind of make it up as we go.
As we go, yeah.
What are the criteria? We're ranking this, I assume, like the banners, purely on rules.
Yes. Not no alliance bullshit. Assume they get the army bonus.
We're taking into account, you know, the fact that like in the context of the force they're in, I assume.
Well, this is an interesting one because for the banners we did that. For this one, are we going to find that most of them are shit because named heroes are almost always better if we do that? So named
heroes don't always have March, so I think you should consider them in the context of the rest of the army.
Okay, I feel like nothing would. If we were comparing it with named heroes, I feel like very few would be anywhere near legendary, though.
Yeah, but that's fine.
I feel like there's like a baseline of sensibleness where we're going to put some in legendary, even though in the context of the lists there are better named heroes. But for the
but
sake
but if they're good in the context of the list, that can also just count in their favour, I guess.
But for the sake of this being watchable content, deal with it.
Wow.
We make watchable content.
No.
Well, apparently not, according to the YouTube stats.
The YouTube comments would agree as well.
Like, what the fuck is this?
Oh,
This isn't Last Alliance of Noobs and Men. I'm lost.
Why isn't there an Australian just being swearing at me? Right, so we are starting off with the Dunedain because you can take them.
Oh.
In the Shire.
Do we consider them in the context of the Shire or in the context of both?
Oh my goodness. Do we consider them in the context of being just slightly shitter Rangers of the North?
Yeah.
I think in the Shire they're slightly more purposeful because they are what you take with Gandalf. They're an unnamed hero for the Shire, so you can spam them. And they're actually probably better than most Hobbit heroes.
Well, no, they are better than most Hobbit heroes.
Can they lead hobbits?
They can.
They're are they minor? I thought they were fortitude.
Minor. No, they're minor heroes, so they can lead 6 hobbits. They come with a bow that doesn't count towards your army limit. It's a 24-inch bow with a 3-up shoot, so it's just flat out better than a hobbit bow. I'd say in the context of the Shire, they're pretty good, but I feel like most of the time, unless you're running specifically Gandalf Shire, you're running Legendary Legions, so they're probably not going to be around too much. But some people definitely run them. Should we do them in the context of the Shire, and then we'll do Rangers of the North in context of the Rangers, should we say?
Sure.
I would say that they are solid.
Yeah, I think they're going to end up at the bottom of solid.
Sure.
They're D4.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And they're good. They're decent everywhere else. They're cheap.
Yeah.
Only one might point, which, as we're going to see for most of the heroes on this list, they have 2. They're not really captain level. Obviously, you can get 2 for the price of most captains, which is handy.
They have accuracy, don't they? Do they have accuracy?
They have accuracy. They don't have march, which is a bit.
No, accuracy is nice for hobbits.
Accuracy isn't bad for hobbits. It's situationally. I'm starting to feel like solid maybe is too generous, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I think bottom of solid or top of average, and I think it'll become clearer as the rest of the list forms around it.
I'm just thinking if we put them in solid, where are we putting Ranger of the North? Because I just flat out think Ranger of the North is better.
Yeah, maybe Dunedain goes top of average then.
Top of average, there we go. And then that takes us nicely on to Ranger of the North. Ranger of the North is better. There you go, I said it.
Yeah.
There's 3 reasons why. Defense 5, horse, can be taken in the Grey Company Legendary Legion.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any.
No, that was remarkably uncontroversial for you. I think Rangers going solid. I think they're good.
They are paying 5 more points for their defense over the Dunedain, but I think if you were given the option to buy Dunedain armor, you're probably going to do that, right?
It would depend on how points work out. Like, Dunedain are quite nice because they're 25. They maybe more neatly fit in at some points levels, but like, I don't know.
It is weird, isn't it, how they went spears for a hero 1 point.
1 point.
But then they were like armor 5 points, or horse 10 points.
I think if the Ranger of the North horse was 5 points, they would actually be quite good.
Maybe too good though. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I think solid.
I think solid is very fair. And that takes us past the kind of weird non-heroes. Trying to think of a good pun there, but one didn't come to me. Zeros, there we go. Hey.
Sorry, we waited for that.
I know. Sorry about that. On to the first proper kind of like it's an actual hero, the Captain Numenor. He's a good captain, isn't he?
He's decent, and like I think actually sees quite a lot of use in Numenor, despite how good the other 2 heroes are. Just because I think especially if you're running pure Numenor, it's often going to be one of the 2 heroes plus a captain. And like neither of the big two heroes have March, and I think March is quite useful in that army. It's a bit weird they aren't strength 5. I wonder if that was maybe just done for like gameplay reasons rather than theme reasons. Because like most captains tend to get a strength buff over the basic troops, but these guys don't. But they are still fight 5, which is nice.
Yeah, maybe they would have been a little bit too good if they were strength 5. Although there are going to be captains we'll see that strength 5. Yeah, I think they're really good. The list, because as you say, you're taking them as that kind of secondary hero. They're also going to be therefore picking up resistance to magic quite a bit at the time. I feel like that pushes them into, and especially with all their options, horse, lance, shield, heavy armor, I think it kind of just tips them into bottom of fantastic, maybe.
I mean, the fact you can get them for what, like 75 points, you can get a fight 5 D7 hero with a lance on a horse. Like, that's not bad at all. Like, and I think they are going to be resistant to magic, as you've said, and like, once they've used their might for like maybe a march or two and a move off, you're not actually that worried about just chucking them in, and then suddenly they're just like a chaff killer at, you know, fight 5, which you'd hope would be above the basic warrior fight value, but might not actually be. So, yeah, I think top of solid or bottom of fantastic, and I don't really mind between the two.
Are we happy with fantastic? Mayor, do you think fantastic?
Based on what I heard, yes.
Fuck off.
Sorry, I'll start concentrating, I promise.
He has no views of his own. Knight of the White Tower. A weird one.
A weird one.
He's not a captain.
He's a good one. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Is he the one you can put on a horse with a lance?
No.
I'm thinking of a King of Man, aren't I?
Yeah.
He comes later.
Do you have the Armies of the Lord of the Rings book?
I don't have it in front of me, no.
You're just going to on us chatting shit.
With your famously excellent memory and try and recall all the stat lines.
Knight of the White Tower is the one with the big two-handed sword.
I can see it. I got the tier list out.
No, but you don't know his stats. Onod's helping you with the. Give me.
Okay, continue.
Okay. Big pluses for an unnamed hero. He has strike.
Yeah,
pretty good. He's already base fight 5, which is solid for a man hero.
D6 is nice.
He's D6. He's got 2 attacks and 2 wounds. He has a 2-handed sword that gives him the Mighty Blow special rule, which is situationally useful, especially for certain kinds of troop, and obviously for taking on other captain level heroes is potentially where he is going to shine. Importantly, he has a special rule, which means that on a 6 in a duel, you don't apply the 2-handed, which is kind of like not quite as good Burly, but situationally, you are getting Burly when you most need it. So it's kind of like it's
interesting.
It's almost as good. I imagine it's quite crushing when you roll a 5 and your opponent rolls a 4, though.
Yeah. Also, would this work if you were to ban a reroll? Is that still a natural 6? So if you bannered into a 6, is that a natural 6?
Natural 6 means you can't might into a 6.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say he has a dagger, which actually I think is actually quite interesting, because like it does mean that if you are worried about just winning the duel, you don't have to use the 2-handed sword, and you can just focus on winning it if you're up against a big hero or something.
That is true. True.
I was going to ask if he had a secondary weapon, but you've answered that question.
Great minds think alike when they're not quite paying attention.
He's hero fortitude, which is good. So same as the regular captain. So you're basically exchanging march and flexibility of war gear for some shenanigans with the sword.
Yeah.
I feel like he might get overshined by the king, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, like, I think captains tend to fulfill quite a particular role of being like supporting the troops and like crucially normally bringing in like march and move off might. I feel like this guy does something different in that he's almost a bit like what you'd expect from a named hero, but he's not named, if that makes sense. Like the fact that he has strike is something that normally only comes with like named heroes. Like I can't actually think of many other unnamed heroes that do come with strike. So I think he just performs a different role to perhaps normal captains.
Can you actually take advantage of him being unnamed and 2 though? Like I can't really think of a scenario taking 2, so they might as well have just made
an ally list with Earl the Young.
Yeah, I was going to say the only situation I can see you taking the Knight of the White Tower over just like the named Gondor heroes is doing a Earl the Young alliance.
But then you'd probably, as I think Onod already hinted at, just take the King of Man on a horse with a lance. Like
you would do that too. So I played Ali King at a tournament and he had all 3. He had Earl the Young, Knight of the White Tower on foot, and the King on horse with lance.
Nice, makes sense.
I feel like I might suggest we slip him into fantastic underneath.
Yeah, lower end of fantastic.
I think that's fair, and that sidles us on to the King of Man, Gondor edition.
Super versatile, can be like kind of whatever you need him to be. Because similar to what I think we said earlier about the Captain of Numenor, as soon as you can take a hero with a lance on a horse, like it just kind of changes their potential killing power so much that yes, you have to spend a lot of points on it, but they are then just a complete different proposition.
I think the thing with the King of Man is sacrificing named hero. So situationally, there are reasons you do that. So Earl the Young alliance is those, which isn't.
Yeah,
I don't think is the most popular combination.
No,
but
no.
It is a thing. It is a low. It can work. I think the thing with the King of Man then is he better than the captain sufficiently to be worth his points? And I think the arm essentially probably.
Yeah, I think he might be top of fantastic or in legendary.
You're getting an extra fight. You're getting an extra point. You're getting the access to heroic defense. You are going to have to whack on the heavy armor, which the captain already starts out at to get back to D6. At which point, though, you can give him an armored horse, you can give him a lance and a shield. So
it is worth noting he's then what, like 85, 90 points. Like he suddenly is quite expensive. Whereas like I think where you'd use a normal captain was if you were just running basic Warriors of Minas Tirith in a shield wall and you want to take advantage of that shield wall. But I agree. I think most of the rest of the time I would probably take a king over a basic captain.
It's interesting when you say he's a lot of points though, because if you look at like a Rivendell Knight captain, like you'd probably pay all the points for that model, which I know comes with a bow and is slightly higher fight.
Yeah.
But,
well, and therefore, I think the fight 6 is pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But yeah.
What are we thinking for the king then?
Top of fantastic.
Top of fantastic. Above the Numenor captain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. And then that takes us on to the captain of Minas Tirith. So only fight 4, which I think fighting wise, there isn't really any point to take the captain of Minas Tirith, but you can take him for utility. He does have shield wall. He does have heroic march. He does have a purpose. I think in the context of the list, though, he's probably not going to make fantastic.
No. I was about to say, I think he's definition of like a solid hero. I think the disadvantage he does have is that a lot of time with Minas Tirith you're getting to fight 4 anyway, with like a backline of Rangers or Fountain Court Guard or whatever. So actually his fight value isn't that relevant, whereas going to the fight 5 with the King of Men or the Knight of the White Tower is actually quite relevant. So
yeah. Bottom of solids, I would say under Range of the North personally. I think Range of the North bit more for the list.
Yeah. I think he's more situational because, like, also it's worth noting if you can get him shield walling, he suddenly goes to D8, which is quite nice. But I appreciate that's quite niche.
True, but I just don't know if you need the hero to be in the shield wall rather than be flanking round and killing stuff.
I mean, unless you're doing move offs, in which case him being at the front isn't necessarily a bad thing.
True. That takes us on then to the of Dol Amroth. I think just by definition of what he has equipment-wise, he's got to be good.
Yeah.
I do feel like in the context of the list that he is somewhat at odds with. By the time you've added the armor torch, you probably take 4 on the fat. Extra might point, slightly better rules.
A little bit superfluous, isn't he?
Yeah.
Give you the march though.
I mean, it's interesting if you compare him to the King of Men. Like, I appreciate they're in different lists, but like for 5 points, 5 points more, you're getting almost identical in terms of the stat line and stuff, except you get 1 more defense. But then actually, if you equip them the same, they are almost identical.
You don't get the extra point for some magic resistance.
Yeah, it's true.
It does, of course, have the special rules. So if you take him,
Imra
Hill, you're going to go to fight 6. So I feel like just by that definition, we should be considering him around where we put Captain Numenor. And he is the only access to march if you're running the army pure.
Yeah, it's true.
So I feel like he's going to be around where the King of Men is.
Above the Captain of Numenor?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of times you're going to sacrifice his utility for the named heroes, but I don't think that he's actually a bad hero in and of himself.
No,
and I think in the context of this, there are plenty of reasons to take him.
Yeah, okay. So below the king and above the Captain of Numenor.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Mayor, you happy with that?
Yeah, I think so. Originally, I was thinking kind of solid, but only because I don't know. But I don't. Yeah, I mean he's really good in and of himself. So yeah, I can see why he'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Now, are we going to do Herald because Dead have done? Or are you going to leave?
We can do. Yeah, maybe it makes sense just to go through it roughly in order, even if that is in an expansion book.
Let's do Heralds of the Dead. Is that his
official name? It is.
This one's going to be difficult to judge. I think
because you don't have the book.
Not because I mean that makes it personally more challenging for me to judge. But I meant more. This is going to be nothing like any of the other characters on this list.
No.
In terms of why they're good, but I think they might. They have the potential to be good, but I'm not sure whether you ever really use.
I think it depends. If you're taking Return of the King, you don't see him run very often. If you were taking pure Dead of Dunharrow, which I think I've literally seen one person do, then he's like basically an automatic legendary because he's your only other option. So it depends how we want to. If we're not looking at legions,
we are saying context of the list, aren't we?
Yeah. In which case, I think he's very important because.
Should we quickly run over what he does, just so that we?
Yeah.
So friendly spirit models within 3 inches get resistant to magic. He's got Blaze of the Dead and Terror. He costs 70 points base. Should I go through all his stats, or should I just?
I think the rule is the most important bit.
Okay.
Go over like his key stats, like fight, attack, wounds, might, etc.
Fight 4, strength 4, D7, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 6 courage, 0 might, 3 will, 2 fate. He obviously gives everybody, as I said, within 3 inches resistant to magic. He's got Blaze of the Dead and Terror. He can take a shield to go to D8. He's got Spectral Walk, same as everybody else. The big one is the King of the Dead. If he's within, it's called the King's Council. If the King of the Dead is within 3 inches of one or more heralds, the King of the Dead may spend one of the will points to declare heroic action instead of spending one of his own might points. Yeah,
which is like so critical because he's only got one might.
Might. Yeah.
So if you're running it pure, you've got one might unless you take these, in which case you've got 4. Take 2 of them, you've got 7. Like they're legendary.
Just for heroic actions, though, which does make them slightly less useful. I think they've got to go in legendary, and I think actually there's a lot. I know that you're saying you don't really take them, but I think there's a lot good about them, like 2 fate on an unnamed hero.
Yeah, I mean they're tough as nails, but like I think the problem is they're just a bit weird, aren't they? Like they're so different to all the others that I think it makes them quite hard to rate. Blaze the Dead is good as well. Like depends on the army you're facing, but it's often like
as a banner? Because it looks like they should count.
No, it doesn't count as a banner.
It's weird that they don't have a banner.
Yeah,
As they actually are holding a banner.
I guess they're like heralds.
Yeah, but the dwarf heralds have banners. Anyway, I think legendary is fair for Unnamed hero text of the list.
Yep. But probably quite low in legendary, I imagine. But yeah, in legendary. Actually, maybe not low in legendary. We'll see.
See if anything else makes it. I think that there's a couple that make it.
Yeah.
About anything else.
King's Huntsman, am I right?
Why have you put the fucking dwarf King's Champion in when we specifically said that wasn't the named hero?
I was memeing a bit, but yeah.
Triggering me. Right. Captain of Arnor. Good.
He's real good.
Good by default.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'll scroll back through the book, but like his stat line is virtually identical to the Captain of Dol Amroth. Yeah. He loses 1 point of courage, and he's 10 points cheaper.
And he gains Hatred Angmar.
Yep. Which I guess is a thing.
And of course, he's going to be fearless near Arvedui, and
Malbeth will be keeping him alive.
Malbeth will be giving him a cheeky 5-up.
Yeah.
You're also definitely going to take 1 or 2 because you will have so many points.
Yeah. I think I don't know if they're legendary. I think they're very, very good.
I don't think they're legendary. They're too boring. Legendary.
They're too boring. Wow. But for their I just think the value for points you get, like a Fight 5 D7 hero for 55 points.
I guess in context of this, their one downside in courage in that context isn't too bad. With that Arnold, we've seen Arnold can do very well. Like they're in vogue thanks to our YouTube video.
Yeah,
I'm claiming credit
for ruining the meta.
Yeah, it wasn't until we posted that video that
everyone realised.
Conquest Creations jumping on the bandwagon thing.
Yeah, let's not attach ourselves to that bandwagon.
It was before you buy that started that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Well, everyone hates us now, so that's good.
Everyone hates us. Hates us. Fine.
Not everybody. I think they're middle of fantastic for me. Maybe towards the top.
I think in context, for the list, they're better than the King of Man for the list.
Yeah.
What are we thinking? May, you can cast the tiebreak. Middle of fantastic.
I think Gondor have plenty of other options whereas Arnor, it's like you kind of need them. So I would say top.
Bring him in top. If he will go. There we go. He's in. Right. King's Huntsman, one of my personal favourites. No.
I'm not a fan. I have to be honest.
No.
Really? I was sort of memeing, but
they legitimately are good. In certain lists,
they're okay.
I'm definitely going to be chucking one into my Helm.
Yeah, well,
that's because you've got no other good options.
Yeah, but he's just legitimately quite useful.
I'm not sure.
I don't think you take him unless you're playing Helm Hammerhand, and even then you take one. So
I think there's a case to be made for taking another. You yourself have said that you've seen people do well at tournaments, just chucked in one.
The only list I've seen him in was a Helm Hammerhand list.
No, I swear you told me that he was.
It's possible. You'd remember more than me.
Citation needed.
I mean, there's a good chance now, having recorded our conversation, was on recording. Okay. So I can't be asked to find it. But I think he's good.
I think he generously makes solid.
Yeah, I think he's solid.
Possibly in average, and I'd prefer to see him in average. But
yeah, I'm the same.
I disagree.
Make your
case.
That's
nice.
Think how highly we value Legolas's ability to like snipe a horse. And I'm not saying that the King's Huntsman's as good as it, but
that's good.
He's much cheaper, and he does give you a chance of doing that.
No, but so does a normal archer.
No, but you're getting only failing in the way on a 1. Like he's so much more likely to actually make it.
But
And
then
he gets a strength 3 bow.
But is the 2 up in the way? Does that include the horse? So like,
No,
is it a 2 up to hit the rider?
Because
no, because it's a 1, 2, 3.
It's not in the way the horse or rider. That's a different check, isn't it? It's worded differently, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Thing is, it's still a strength 2 bow, isn't it?
Strength 3. It's a longbow. It's a longbow.
It's strength 3. So you're still winning a horse on a 5.
Yeah.
Which isn't great.
But you can just check a might point at it. If it was the Witch King's horse, that I will tell you about that. Massively regret doing that in the game.
Yeah, but how many? He's got 1 might, has he?
He's got 2.
He's got 2 might. So you're rolling to hit. You're rolling a couple in the ways. You're 50-50ing the horse, and then you're trying to kill a horse. Yeah, maybe like over 2 or 3 turns, you might end up killing a horse. But then it depends. How many can he lead? 6? Or is he independent?
Yeah, he's minor.
He's minor. So, I mean, it depends, I guess, on the points value that you're playing as well. Because if you can just about squeeze him in and max out all your warbands, then great. But if you're having to then buy an additional hero who doesn't have a full warband, who's got like 6 in his warband, I'd probably rather have like a better hero with more dudes, more archers, more models, more cavalry, or a better hero. Like he's quite versatile, I guess, in that he does have that nice range threat.
But I think he's not versatile in that all he has is his range threat because he's 1 attack and he's fight 3.
Got to remember as well, he has that special where he gets his might back if he kills a hero.
No, but I don't think that's going to go off.
Oh, I don't know. There's plenty of armies where that would go off.
What? But killing a hero or a monster?
If you're playing a Survivors of Lake Town, if you're playing a Shire army, if you're playing a Ruffians army, if you're playing like any Goblin army with like small heroes, like there are armies with weak heroes where he is potentially going to have that rule pop off.
No, but then you're relying on it already being on 1 wound and them not having a fate point or like might to buff that fate point. Like I think it's too niche.
It's niche, but it will pop off occasionally.
I think very occasionally.
I think I feel even more strongly that he's top of average now. Where would you put him, Onod, if you got to choose?
I think he
fantastic.
I think he at minimum has to be top of solid.
Oh no! I think we can go bottom of solid and compromise them.
He's better than a Ranger of the North. Come on.
No, he's not. He has fewer attacks and he's lower fight.
Yeah, but you're not throwing him in like purpose.
No, but that's the point. He lacks the versatility. Like a Ranger of the North can defend themselves because like you can't rely on like range threat being it. Like Legolas isn't only good because of his archery. He's good because he's fight 6. He's got 3 might and strike.
He's got 1 more might point in the Ranger of the North.
Yes, but he has fewer attacks in his lower fight, and he can't take a horse despite being a Rohan hero.
And Rohan is spoilt for heroes as well.
Yeah, like in the context of the list, like surely like the billion amazing named Rohan heroes, how on earth are you going to fit this guy in?
Yeah, I think you're only taking him in a helm list, really. I still think he's top of average, but Onod's insistent, so I feel like we're going to have to go bottom of solid.
I feel like you're sleeping.
Compromise.
No.
Okay, next time we put... Well, you're building a list with him in, aren't you?
Well, I won't need him at the really low points, but when I...
Interesting. So he talks all this crap about wanting him in his list and doesn't put him in.
Yeah, you can't fit another hero.
Well, you got the points for it. I just think you're just making excuses.
Bottom of solid then, fine. Right, Captain of Rohan, whiff.
The march is useful in a Rohan list.
What? Okay, if we're saying that King's Huntsman's useful,
triggered.
Heroes, The captain is even more nichely locked into only ever going to be taken in a Helms list by that fucking.
No, you do see it in like a Riders of Theoden list.
Really? Yeah, so
I would take him over Earmare.
So you can cheese it with the fucking banner,
Yeah, exactly.
But
So,
we didn't say we were doing Legendary Legions. List.
Okay, fair. Well, in a base list, who else has March in Rohan?
Erkenbrand, Gamling.
Dernhelm has it.
Dernhelm has it.
Actually, you do have a fair amount of March.
Theoden has it, for fuck's
sake. I think Elfhelm might actually have it.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't, because I played him and I was really annoyed because Gamling has it. Okay, well, yeah. So I mean, in that case, yeah, I think he's top of average. He's superfluous.
Above Dunedain.
Yeah, at least the King Huntsman has a niche.
Okay. Even if it's very niche.
But he has it. Right. This is I am salty. I've gone on record. The King's Huntsman is my child.
Right. Well, we can talk about that later.
He looks like he's older than you.
He looks a bit younger, to be fair.
Rohanna middlemen. They age and die quick.
High Elf Captain.
Good. Thumbs up.
Expensive but good.
Expensive but good.
I mean, you're only taking him for March, surely.
Context of list does make it suffer a bit because everything's so expensive. You're probably not squeezing one in.
But I mean, comparatively, he's one of the few heroes that can come in under 100 points and like have a horse and be decent. Like he's 95 with Horse Lance Shield, and like I don't know. I think if you're running pure Rivendell and maybe like with a lot of knights or something, I can see why you'd put him in. But like he's competing against some of the best heroes in the game. Like there's always that debate of like Glorfindel versus Elrond versus Gil-galad. Like I think against those guys it is tricky for him to compete.
It's similar to, I would say, the Gondor captain, but he's just flat out better than a Gondor captain. So I would say he's top of solid.
Yeah,
but then context of less.
Yeah, but again, it's the same as Gondor. Like they've got similar. They've both got a lengthy hero list. Gondor maybe has more breadth of hero type, whereas I mean Rivendell does as well, just not to the same extent. So I'd say maybe the captain's a little bit more useful, and also the captain is just better than a Gondor captain.
It's a shame. I mean, it feels like he should be really good as an. If pure like which is the best unnamed hero, right up there in terms of just raw stats.
Yeah. I mean, fight 6 with an Elven Blade, like that's suddenly very like you can be forcing, for instance, like an Uruk hero or somebody will probably have to strike into you and stuff like that. Like they can really tangle with some low heroes, but then also the problem is like you are spending almost 100 points, I guess, on them if you're putting them on a horse and stuff. So
I mean, we have put the Swan Knight in Fantastic, and I feel like he's pretty comparable to the Swan Knight. Like he's close to the Swan Knight than the Gondor captain, I would say.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Maybe bottom end of Fantastic.
Yeah, maybe just above the Numenor, because the Numenor is
above the Knight of the White Tower.
Because
Knight of the White Tower is currently at the bottom.
To be fair, if you need March in Rivendell,
he's your pretty much only March option.
Maybe he does sneak into Fantastic.
Otherwise, you have to ally in Boromir, which is quite effective. But
you could take Gildor.
We're not allying though, are we?
No. But I was just offering advice to any budding potential high level players out there.
Gildor only has 1 might, so it's not sure.
Yeah.
Why did they Why did they decide that
Gildor
had 4 heroic abilities but only 1 might point?
Yeah. Off you choice, Maybe you could regen some might somehow. I don't know how that's possible, but
right.
So I think bottom of Fantastic. I feel like at the end we're going to do a little bit of rejigging, but
we do. High Elf Stormcaller. This is like one of my
Trash.
favorite fucking profiles in the game.
I like the
Fucking
Call the
garbage.
Winds thing though. I think it's cool.
I think
I don't think it's good. I just think it's cool.
I just think they're so dumb.
Yeah.
Don't like them. I would be campaigns, but to be honest.
Whiff. I think they're whiff.
Yeah,
I just don't think they offer anything. Like
No.
I don't understand what they bring to a list that's already really stretched for like good heroes and points. Like,
You know what I do remember though? Literally when we played this at school, I can't remember who I was playing, and I don't know why I had the High Elf Stormcaller, but I did. And there was a hill, and we were playing whatever the control the middle is called, high ground,
Hold ground.
Hold ground. That's the one. And I kept casting the wind spell on Aragorn and just kept him out of the game, which was kind of funny.
Does he have enough will points? Do you?
He's
got 3, isn't he?
Yeah.
I did it 3 times.
But did Aragorn not resist?
I honestly don't remember. It was literally like 15 years ago.
I imagine that there was a healthy dose of.
Yeah. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to resist magic.
I imagine there was a healthy dose of the rules were being misinterpreted.
Oh yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah, that was before we figured out how to actually play the game. So,
right, whiff, and we'll move on.
Yeah.
Should we put the other Stormcaller in there as well?
Let's do them in order.
He has a slightly different king.
He's still shit.
Galadrim
Captain.
Noticed that you've made a cock up because you've not included the captain.
I have.
Where?
The Galadrim Captain?
Yeah.
He's the one next to it.
And then the Wood Elf Captain?
I completely forgot the Wood Elf Captain existed.
There we go then.
I'll get a picture now.
Well, it doesn't update for me, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, you'd have to completely reload.
Yeah.
Oh,
what a shame.
Let's just restart, shall we?
Entire thing.
I don't think the Wood Elf Captain's very good, is it? So I think
no, it's dog shit.
We were going to miss one. That would
we'll
be
just the one viewer that was looking forward to seeing our placement of it.
Yeah,
we'll
is unsubscribed.
I'll edit in a picture of OT dressed as an elf.
Okay.
Right.
So Galadrim Captain.
Less good than the Riv Knight Captain, and equally as pointless.
Yeah, they can't come with a lance, and they have to take an armored horse, which is not ideal. They get March. Again, it's pretty much your only access to March in the list, which is a bit weird. But I mean, maybe on that basis you do just put one in, but maybe just go without March.
Well, you say that, but you can get a Wood March for 5.
Yeah, okay. I mean that would be worse. I think Galadrim Captain is middle of solid.
Yeah, I would put them above Gondor, below Range of the North.
Yep, I think that's fair. I mean, they're still a Fight 6 D7 captain. Like, they're not bad, but just like I don't think there's as much call for them.
Let's very briefly talk about Wood Elf Captain.
They're trash.
He D4. He have inbuilt.
Yeah.
He can take throwing daggers, but he's kind of meh.
Yeah.
I think
take a Wood Elf Spear for 5 points.
You'd always rather have a bit more defense in your thing.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Would we go so far as to put them in whiff?
I would. I can't think of a reason you'd ever put one in.
Fluff?
Yep, that's not a reason. Wow. We are competitive only here.
Just want to say to viewers that that's not true.
I think they might have noticed by the searing hot temperature of our takes.
OT runs things purely for fluff all the time. Yeah. I'll edit in an image somewhere below around whiff or average at the end to express our opinions. Galadrim Stormcaller, Enchanted Blade. So I actually would say slightly more useful
than Cool Winds.
It still has Cool Winds. It's better than
Strength. Oh, fucking hell! I don't know. I don't. Well, Strength and Will could be all right on a caster.
I'd rather Enchanted Blades on my
Yeah, whack it on Kellerborn.
pointless caster. So I'm going to put it in whiff, but above the Rivendell one.
Yeah. It's weird because also these are just exactly the same picture but from different angles, so it will be very hard to tell which is which.
Not even a different paint job. I can't even get the thing to put it in front.
Okay.
I suppose it doesn't really matter. They're the same model.
They're the same model. I think they are literally the same sculpt. As far as I can tell, there was never another one made. So
that's crushingly disappointing.
Yeah, well, it's never been relevant, has it? Because nobody's ever run them.
True.
Apart from Mare that one time where he just illegally, pushed Aragorn off a hill.
I remember when they brought those models out, like the Knight of the White Tower, Stormcaller, and the Dwarf Shield Bearer, all got brought out when they made Finecast, so that they could repackage all of the heroes and make you buy them again with a new hero.
Yep.
Yeah.
Smart thinking.
Yeah. The elves kind of got screwed over though. Like they just like quite a bland caster that no one brings.
Yeah.
Although our list where we just take like 10 and just ping people back, I do really want to do.
And then lose. Or you do strength and will in like a big circle.
You just bring Tom Bombadil ally. Just keep on.
And you play like a tower defense game where your opponent's just like, what the fuck is happening?
Just keep blabbing might onto them so they can channel their cool wins. Oh, that's a bad idea. Right, the Dwarf King. Oh,
he's so fucking good.
So good.
He
doesn't have the restriction where you can't take other named heroes for some reason.
Yeah.
He's probably legendary.
Yeah.
5, 6,
I mean, the
48.
fact that King's got upgraded to Valor as well, like he does just make Balin look a bit shit. I think he's great.
Is he better than Herald? I'm going to say yes.
Yes, I think he is. I think you'd be more likely to see him in a competitive list.
And he can also bring throwing axes, which is quite good. He could bring a two-handed axe, although you're probably not.
No, I don't think you would do that.
And he gets March and Resolve, so that's useful, isn't it?
I think defense would be overkill on him, so it's better that he's got something else.
Yeah. Dwarf Captain, he's also pretty good. 5/5, so a little bit of a downgrade on the King. He is only base D7, but you can take the shield. Situationally shielding could be more useful.
Yeah.
I think overall though you'd rather the +1 courage, +1 fight, +1 defense base, +1 will, and all for the low price of 15 points.
Yeah. I mean, I will say for like the dwarf captains, a D8 captain is really, really good. Like, especially if you're up against like anything that's strength 3, your opponent's needing like 6s by 4s on a captain model is really strong. But yeah, like
I think context of the list though.
Yeah. I think maybe top of solid.
I would say if we're putting the L, we can go at the very bottom of fantastic.
Cool. Yep, no, that makes sense. Happy with that.
And then
King's Champion.
Shield Bearer.
Oh.
So, kind of shit.
He's so weird and like. I think I would argue slightly better than Whiff for the slightly niche heroic combat bullshit.
No.
We know that heroic combat bullshit can be useful.
Yep.
I don't think anyone's given him enough time today to actually try and see if he works, to be honest.
Yeah, I would agree.
I feel like he's probably a whiff from current experience, but I feel like maybe someone should try and make him work. I just don't want to be that person.
Someone other than us.
Yeah, someone who knows what they're doing. Try and do something. I guess reroll courage test and 12 inches of him is quite good against terror as well.
Yeah, I think to be honest, it's very hard to argue he should be anything like higher than average, and I can definitely see the argument for Whiff. His biggest problem is like no will or fate, and he's only minor, which like massively handicaps how many troops you can take. So yeah, I top of Whiff.
Callers, but
yeah,
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah.
Yep.
And that is the end of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Now we move over to the dark side.
We don't acknowledge the other book.
Yeah.
Right, go on then. It's the two captains that for some reason exist, even though it's questionable. It's the captain of Thrall and the other captain of Thrall.
It's the Grimhammer captain and the captain of Erebor.
Yeah, there we go. What is
Now,
the difference between these? Explain.
So the captain of Erebor is literally just a dwarf captain from Khazad-dûm.
Okay.
Like completely identical. The Grimhammer captain is 5 points more, but he comes with a pick hammer, so he can bash or piercing strike, and he comes with throwing axes.
Is there any reason to take either of these?
Yes, March.
Do none of the named heroes have March?
No access to March at all.
Not even like young
Nope.
Farm or whatever the fuck they're called. Oh.
Young Balin, no. Young Balin has defense. Young Dwalin has strike and strength.
Are they a couple? Or
Are they a what?
a couple of solids?
I personally prefer the captain of Erebor, just because I think having a shield on a captain's really good, and he's 5 points cheaper. I get the argument for the Grimhammer captain because having the versatility of the pick hammer is nice, and throwing axes are really good. So I think you may as well rank them both side by side. And to be honest, maybe they just slip in above the Knight of the White Tower in Fantastic. I mean, if we've put the basic dwarf captain in Fantastic, I think these guys are more important to the list than the basic dwarf captain.
Fair enough. May, you okay with that?
Yeah, I think I agree.
Okay, so I'm putting them above Knight of the White Tower.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what order they're in.
Yeah, I marginally prefer the captain of Erebor, which is the first one with 2 axes, but like I think it's personal choice.
There we go. Now one that I suspect
be very contentious.
For some reason better than if we go by purely fluff description, better at strategic thinking than most named heroes. It's the Iron Hills captain.
Yeah.
Eye roll.
Yeah.
Well, they probably just couldn't think of anything unique to give them.
It's a fucking really good dwarf captain stat line, which they decided to give Master of Battle for unknown reasons, and you can mount them, which you can't do with any of the other dwarfs that we've already said are very good. I think it's just top of legendary straight away, right?
It's worth noting they're a little bit expensive. Like they are. I agree, and like I think like the fact they also have a war spear, which is a lance, on the goat, is pretty insane. I don't think they're as good as the Dwarf King.
I think they're better.
Plus one attack on the charge, because you can mount them. They get a chance to knock down automatically when they charge anyway, so you're minimizing potential.
+1 to wounds as well.
They have a lance, so you're getting the +1 to wounds. You're getting,
but then you have to.
So if somebody...
you have to have that because you're paying 15 more points and they're 1 less fight, and they get less space in their warband.
Master of Battle, like imagine those poor fucking Rohan here.
Yeah.
Up against you, and then you just fucking auto strike back.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree they're very good, but like I personally think the fight 6 and the extra warband space from the Dwarf King makes them more valuable.
I would personally put them above the Dwarf King.
Yep.
Nah.
I'd personally put it above the Dwarf King as well. I know he's a lot more expensive, but we're not. I mean, we weren't doing that with most of the other ones. You know, like we were comparing the elf hero with the.
Well, I think we were with the elf captain. Like we marked them down for being quite expensive.
You're getting what you pay for.
Yeah, and also in the context of the army, they're like, you know, after Dane, if you're doing pure, then you have to take captains, and whereas
You have other
You've got
options,
more
than the captain.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
If they were any cheaper, it'd be fucking ridiculous. So
Yeah.
Lake,
I think they're very strong.
Lake Town Guard captain dude. I don't really know about this one.
40 points, fight 4, shoot 4, strength 4, D5, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 3 courage, 2 might, 1 will, 1 fate.
It's important to have March with that lot,
Yes.
and also he's very cheap and he allows you
Yep.
to take lots of guys.
And he gets the bonus from the Master of Lake Town, so he can go up to fight 5.
Yeah,
Probably-
so I think he's probably pretty good.
Probably slotting somewhere in fantastic. There.
Just for sheer value for points, I think like
Yeah.
40 points for that is pretty good.
Yeah,
I'd put him above Knight of the White Tower again.
Oh, I was thinking towards the top of fantastic. I was thinking like around the Knight of the Dalamoth Captain.
You reckon?
Yep. I just think in the context of the list, although I suppose to be fair, you are taking Alfred, Master, Braga before these guys, but in that kind of army, you're going to need 2 or 3 captains anyway to fit in the numbers. So yeah.
Yeah. Survivors of Lake Town Captain. I hear these guys as
A what?
the Survivors of Lake Town Captain dudes. They're surprisingly good, right?
Yes.
yeah. I mean, for the same reason that the Lake Town Militia captains are good.
Losing a point of fight is a bit of an oof, but they can take a shield, which I think is just super nice. And like again, if they're in range of Bard in the list, they're going up to fight 4, which is nice. So yeah, and the bonus for the basic troops procs off heroes anyway. So yeah, you probably want a few of them in there.
So we're putting him around the same place.
Yeah, I think you need them.
Yeah, I agree.
In the Captain of Dale. I feel like the Hobbit unnamed heroes are really advantaged by the fact that there's named heroes in their list, right?
Yeah,
Like, there's just always more reason to take them because you have less options.
yeah. I mean, a Captain of Dale is interesting because they're a bit flimsy, but they are fight 5, which is nice for 50 points. And like I think most of the time people are going to put a bow on them, which I can understand. I think it kind of again it depends on the list. Like I've never put one in because in the army I run, I've preferred to put in a Captain of Thor, Thor's captain rather than a Dale captain. But yeah, they definitely give you some firepower.
What are we saying then? Top of solid sort of area?
Yeah. I mean, the problem is like in both of these lists, because if you run the Garrison of Dale, if you run it with either just with what's his name, just Girion, then you're pretty much going to have to take a captain. If you run it with Brand and Bard, you could maybe not have to take a captain, but like I think most of the time you end up with 1 or 2 in the list. So yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. I'm increasingly starting to feel, looking at how maybe shouldn't have given so much weight to just making armies bigger because they're all reasonably okay at that.
Yeah.
Moving on to the elves then.
Shall I tell you which order they come in because you don't have the book?
Yeah, I mean, are these just 3 identical elven?
They are very, very, very different and very different in terms of their power. So the first one is the Palace Guard Captain, who's 75 points, so same as a High Elf Captain, fight 6, shoot 3, strength 4, d6, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 6, 2 might, 1 will, 1 fate. They've got March, they come with a shield. They get Woodland Creature and Bodyguard base, which is quite nice. So that's a bit of a buff over a basic High Elf Captain. But also, while they're within 3 inches of Thranduil, they gain +1 fight, so they can go up to fight 7.
Okay, so pretty strong.
Yeah, and obviously they're also going to get the regular buff, which is that they get +1 to wound if they're within 3 inches of Thranduil as well. So if you can get them within 3 inches of Thranduil, they are at +1 fight and effectively strength 6, if you want to think of it like that. Which, you know, pretty good. So I'd be tempted to put them in very high fantastical, maybe even legendary. Like, I think they're so good.
Very dependent on that hero, though, aren't they? Like,
yeah. But then, like, the way that list plays, especially if you're basing around Thranduil, is that you kind of will be bunched around Thranduil anyway, and you might want that captain close by to call moves and marches. So,
how are they pointed versus other elf captains we talked about? Like, are they similar or are they paying?
So they're identical to a high elf captain. They're both 75 points. It's just these guys get bodyguard and that rule on top of it.
I mean, they don't have horse and lance option, but they are getting stuff basically for free within the army. So, I guess I don't know.
I would put them bottom of legendary if it was me, but
okay,
I'm willing to listen to other arguments.
Mel, I'll let you speak of this because I have never
hate the Hobbit.
Yeah, I hate the Hobbit, and I have played Thranduils, but I've never actually seen one of the unnamed heroes.
I think they are very, very, very good. I think I'd agree. Somewhere in legendary is fine. Yeah,
I think at the bottom, but still in legendary.
Yeah.
So the Palace Guard is the one on the right hand side, the very last one.
Yeah, I got it.
Cool. The next one is the basic Mirkwood captain, who has exactly the same stat line. He comes with an elven made glaive rather than a sword, so you can either use it as a spear or a hand and a half sword, and they can use the shielding rule as well. They don't have an option for a shield. They don't get bodyguard, and they don't have an option for a horse or lance or anything like that.
Oof.
Yeah.
So most of the time, they are just worse than a Palace Guard, apart from in the very niche situation where you want to spear support.
No special rules.
Nope, just willing creature.
How many points are they?
Exactly the same, 75.
Why would you ever take one?
Yep, that's the question.
So, I mean, context of the list, they've got to be with, right? Like,
I think you could make a small argument for average, but I wouldn't be upset if they were in whiff either. They're fine, but like you would almost never take them.
That's such a brutal comparison, and it's not even like for fluff reasons. Like, they're basically the same elf.
Yeah. Mare?
I would say bottom of average. I think whiff is harsh. Like, if you look at them by themselves, they're still not crap. Like, but they aren't, like you said, as useful. You would obviously take. I mean, the reason they exist is because of the Legion, etc. But obviously, if we're looking at it in the army, they're not as useful. I would say anywhere in average is fine.
And then finally, the Mirkwood Ranger Captain. I hear is shit.
They're just weird. So compared to a Wood Elf Captain, I think they're 10 points more. They have basically the same stat line. They come with an elf bow, elven daggers, and an elven cloak. They have heroic accuracy, not heroic march, which I think is just not objectively worse, but like almost strictly worse.
Yeah.
And the fact that Thranduil and Legolas both come with accuracy anyway, as does Tariel, I can't ever see a reason you'd put them in. Like, they get knife fighters, which is cool, like the bonus attacks and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I think I've never made a Thranduil's list, but like personally, I do like Thranduil, Legolas, and the Palace Guard Captain as my top three.
They're more expensive than the Palace Guard Captain, right?
They're exactly the same points.
I thought you said 10 points more.
They're 10 points more than a Wood Elf Captain from Lothlorien.
Yeah, you're mixing your elves. I mean, they're better than the Wood Elf Captain, but we said that they were in whiff, I think, didn't we?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'd say that these have to go in whiff if we put the regular Elf Captain in average.
I think the context of the list just is brutal, because even if their one thing is they have accuracy, which so many other models in the list have anyway, like it's just not really a thing.
They have knife fighters, but
yeah. But then you've got knife fighters with Tariel and effectively Thranduil anyway, even though it's not exactly the same rule.
Yeah, I think I would put them below the Dwarf Shield Bearer as well.
Also, 75 points for a D4 model with 2 wounds and 1 fate.
Yeah, it's a bit of a feel bad, isn't it?
You could get camelled to death.
Fuck me.
Yeah, so this is what I meant by the Legion, not the previous one.
Yeah.
This is used in the context of the Legion, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mirkwood
but
Rangers.
even then, you only take them in Legion when you've maxed out warband size, right? Like,
Yeah, I agree.
you only take them because you have to. Yeah,
But they have March, which is
No, they don't.
I mean,
they don't.
how do they
have
not?
March, no.
You're shitting me. Okay.
They've got accuracy.
That's why they're so shit. Right, there we go. That's it. I don't think unless we're bothered by the fact that Fantastic is much fuller than all the others, I don't think we need to do any rejigging, to be honest.
I mean, we could knock down a couple from Fantastic to Solid, but to be honest, like I think everything's kind of where it should be.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think there's an argument to be made that we've been a little generous towards some in ways that wasn't consistent, but fuck it, who cares?
Yeah, not the listeners.
Leave a salty comment below if you disagree. Right, news. We will do non-Ahsoka news first, so that Mare can join in. I don't really know what's...
Fuck all's happened. We're not getting any new expansions. MESBG is dead. Fucking sell your models to me for a bargain price so I can sell them on when people come back to the game. Everybody just calm the fuck down. Jesus Christ.
No, I think everyone should sell. Or burn them like that one guy did when they blew up Warhammer Fantasy. Do you know about that, OT?
I don't care. I've fucking had enough. Like it's just so much bullshit.
So they announced that Warhammer Fantasy Battles news and replaced with Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And one guy burnt his Dark Elf army, which was like an absolutely enormous collection. If he'd resold it on eBay, like immediately, he made like a few hundred, and he just posted a video of him burning it.
Right. Well, he's an idiot, isn't he? No offense if he's a listener, but that was not a good decision.
No, especially now that they're bringing it back. But
I mean,
yeah, Warhammer, the old world.
Wow.
Square bases are back.
They're back, baby.
Why?
And then Watcher will return. That's what they're building up to.
We've literally discussed this on the podcast, but Mare clearly was playing Dawn of War at the time.
Well, one of our theories is he's just learned to filter us out throughout, which is wise. If they did just re-announce Watcher, can you imagine?
No, I'm not.
What, the same like? Surely you've got to do it at a different scale or something.
Even if they improve the rules,
30mm,
bigger,
very slightly bigger. It's like Shatterpoint.
No, I would not play that for love nor money.
Okay,
I'd play a small scale, as in like 6mm. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're not going to make those models, are they?
No.
If they can't be asked to invest in the game they have, they're not going to bring out a whole range of models different fucking scale.
We're going to get an announcement in like October or November, I reckon, and it'll be something shit like, I don't know,
a Ring Wraith diorama. The next scene from the film. The only difference will be that spider's crawling over.
Nice,
identical to this one, but with the added spider.
You can make like a stop motion animation from all the dioramas they're going to release.
Maybe a diorama of the Ring Wraith when it gets off its horse.
That's what I was thinking, and it's like peering over.
And the beautiful thing about that is it then means that there wouldn't be any playable models included.
No, you can mount him on his horse like that. You can like take him off the model and you can put him on the horse sideways.
Ring Wraith on foot crawling so that you can behind walls easier.
Yeah.
Excellent. I don't think there's really been any news about other things that we're that interested in. Star Wars Legion hasn't had anything.
No.
Nothing that I'm into has had anything. Oh, Burrows and Badgers is getting a Kickstarter soon, but that's not really news because it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess then...
Also, no one wants it.
Well, essentially, I think people do. I think they just don't want his the new version of his game. But I think lots of people are happy to pay him for his models. Yeah,
the models are so cool. Like, just don't fuck it up, please.
Yeah. Should we talk about Ahsoka then? So, Mel, I don't know what you're going to do.
I guess I'll peace out and you can message me when you're done.
You've done a pretty good job of not listening so fast. You can stay.
True.
We could do a spoiler-free. Are we doing spoiler-free or are we doing spoilers?
Spoilers, absolutely spoilers.
All right.
Can't
Bye.
believe.
We'll send you a message. It will only be like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Right. Mez
Let's
gone.
play Rocket League.
Play Rocket League. Mez gone because he hasn't watched Ahsoka. Me and OT are now going to discuss Ahsoka. Spoilers ahead. You have been warned. Thoughts on the first 2 episodes?
It was good, apart from fucking another person getting stabbed and not dying, and it's starting to become a bit of a fucking piss take, to be honest.
It's
like,
a bit of a meme now, isn't it?
Yeah, like, feels bad for Qui-Gon. I know you already said this to me in a meme, but like what on earth is happening?
My first reaction, because OT watched it before me, was to message him being like, "Fucking R.I.P. Qui-Gon."
What a chump!
Literally the only person in the universe to be stabbed with a lightsaber and not survive.
Yeah, he missed that day. He missed that day at the Jedi Temple where like, this is how you survive being stabbed in the stomach by a lightsaber.
Yeah,
because he never thought it would actually happen.
I thought it was good.
Yep.
I didn't think there was an acting issue, which a few people have complained about online. I suspect
with who acting issue with who.
Apparently, people didn't like the actor who's playing Hera, and maybe the actor that's playing Ahsoka. I think that they probably should appreciate that those actors are having to wear an awful lot of makeup, and they're being directed to be stoic and not show their emotions. So, like, give them a break.
Yeah,
they acted it fine. It was well acted. The action scenes are pretty good. It feels Star Warsy, and I know that they're doing it differently.
Yeah,
but it felt Star Warsy in a way almost that is fan servicey, but it's not so on the nose like Rogue One, where I wanted to vomit.
Okay, we have differing opinions on that, but that's fine.
It wasn't being forced down my throat.
No, I think the one thing I'm wary of with Ahsoka is there's lots of potential for cameos, and like, I want those to be done in a fairly subtle way, and I don't want it to become the reason the show exists. Because Ahsoka is a compelling enough character already, as are like Sabine, etc. Without chucking in unnecessary characters. So if they fit naturally into the story, that's fine. If you're shoehorning them in, don't bother.
Well, it looks like from the trailer for episode 3 that Bo-Katan's going to be in it.
Yep.
Which is obviously fine because there's a with Ahsoka in her Padawan. Well, I guess she wasn't a Padawan, was she? She was an ex-Padawan at the time.
Jedi outcast.
Yeah, if like fucking it ends. If it ends up being like the Avengers of the Mandoverse, where fucking Boba Fett, Mando, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, Grogu, and fucking Sabine team up to fucking beat up Thrawn.
Beat up in a fist fight.
Actually, now I say that does quite good.
I don't think it would work. I think that'd be quite difficult to get right as an action scene. But yeah, like, I'm excited for Thrawn to show up. Like, I think he's a different kind of Star Wars villain. Like, the only other one who's maybe comparable is like Krennic, but like Krennic wasn't actually that competent in the end.
Do you think they're going to ruin Thrawn? Because I'm a bit worried after what they did with Moff Gideon. Because Moff Gideon was kind of like a weaker Thrawn.
Yeah.
And they were let's lap him in like his Iron Man outfit. And I was like, it's kind of more interesting when he was just a guy.
Yeah. I mean, like, the power of Thrawn needs to be that he's like a master strategist, and that like, even when you think you're like getting an edge on him, you're actually just working into his plan. Like, that needs to be pulled across. I'm not interested in him, as you're saying, like rocking up with like a blaster pistol or whatever and wrecking people. Like, he can maybe do that a couple of times, but it should be more about like what makes him unique as a Star Wars villain.
I mean, he's got skills. He
does.
He can do a bit of kung fu or karate or whatever.
But that's not what makes him special.
No. Predictions now on.
You cut out.
Oh. Predictions on who the Inquisitor, the Masked Inquisitor is.
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca. Wow.
Yeah.
That would be a plot twist.
I mean, I've got not a fucking clue is actually what I'm saying, but
I was gonna guess Yaddle.
Yaddle is dead. I hate to.
No,
spoil it.
we now canonically know that she is dead thanks to
Yeah.
Jedi. Whatchamacallit.
Tales of the Jedi.
Who do you actually think it is?
Oh, fuck knows. I'm trying. I mean, it could be Ezra.
Yeah, I was wondering that, but then I think that wouldn't make sense if Ezra is wherever Thrawn is.
Yeah, that's true.
But it would be the kind of bullshit plot twist that would like get it. I was thinking, I've seen people suggesting, which I think would be a good idea. It's the Padawan that Ahsoka almost went down for. I can't remember what she's called. Do you know in Clone Wars where Ahsoka is like accused of like doing a crime?
Yeah.
And then it ends up being like another Padawan that she was friends with.
I think she had two green lightsabers or something, didn't she? I can't remember her name.
Someone suggested it could be her, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be an anticlimax now if it isn't anyone?
No, I don't think it has to be someone. Like, not every. This is what is starting to piss me off about Star Wars, is that like everything has to be like connected to something, and like maybe just like have a cool original character every once in a while. Like, it can't do any harm.
I kind of think the issue is like with how you frame something and how a fan base reacts, though, because I think the just natural reaction now is if you have a character, is that people want to know who's under the helmet. And I think unless it's really clearly established, like with the Mandalorian, that Din Djarin is a completely new character, people will just
assume that it's somebody.
Spin themselves in.
I wouldn't actually hate as long as the Ezra thing was done correctly. I wouldn't hate if it was Ezra. I don't think it would make much sense, but like it could be like possible.
I think there would have been a knowing look from Ahsoka. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there'd been like a raised eyebrow, just like
the Inquisitor would have done like an Ezra attack, and
Ahsoka would have been like,
Ahsoka so would have looked at him being like, who the fuck, and that sort of thing. I don't know though.
Yeah,
it might just not be anyone. There we go. That was our review. It's good. They didn't shit the bed.
Oh, Barriss Offee. I've just googled it.
There you go.
Barriss Offee sounds like a delicious dessert.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds like a
banoffee pie.
Quality Street 10.
Yeah.
It still has potential to not be good though.
Yeah. But it also has potential to be completely solid and have no issues.
I really hope that they're going to crack on with releasing this era of stuff for Star Wars Legion.
Yeah.
Because it feels like they are very randomly, like they've done Sabine.
Yeah.
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
The guy who is the spy, whose codename is Fulcrum, that's actual name I've forgotten.
Oh God, you're testing my Rebels knowledge.
It's weird.
Callus.
Yeah, why did they go? Yeah, Callus. Perfect. We'll make a model of him before.
Because I think he was the only. Maybe they were balancing out good and evil.
You could have done Thrawn.
But then, true. Yeah, maybe Thrawn's hard to like fit into the game.
You could have done any of the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
You say he's hard to fit into the game, but they've done like Krennic, and they've done that guy who's in the Walker at Hoth, whose name I can't remember. Like they're clearly
the guy who's at Hoth. Oh, Veers, General Veers.
Yeah, like they've done people who are kind of commanders. I don't know. It feels weird to me that they haven't like done like Bo-Katan, and they've done Bo-Katan and Shatterpoint now, so they've got like a CAD file that they could just whack out anyway.
Yeah, and just make it like 5% smaller.
Get on with it. Come on.
You're welcome. Atomic Mass Games.
I want my full Mandalorian army as well.
Yeah, and Grogu carrying them all to victory on his tiny shoulders.
Yeah, because he's OP. Anyway, that is the end of the podcast. Look at that. We did one again.
You're welcome.
Much like the bowel movements. It's inevitable,
Wow.
necessary, and time-consuming.
Fucking hell.
And only happens once a month.
Oh, do you think that's an animal that only shit? Snakes,
Sloths.
Sloths.
Oh,
very rarely.
sloths. And they also climb down from their tree, which I found a bit odd. They hang off a branch. They're perfectly situated to just have a dump, but instead they deliberately expose themselves to being eaten just to go to the loo.
I mean, I think they are an evolutionary mistake that is soon going to get annihilated. But
the weird thing about sloths is all of the other family that have gone extinct were not fucking lazy pricks that hang off a tree.
Well, maybe there's something in that.
They were like massive animals that fucking roamed around eating stuff and like had massive claws to fight predators.
I mean, there is something to be said for just not using a lot of energy. Like, it's definitely they're definitely a valid survival tactic.
It's just weird that the only member of their family survived
is essentially fucking useless.
The one which had accidentally used the massive claws intended for self-defense to effortlessly hang from something without using any muscle.
Yeah. And then their stomachs have like evolved massively to develop this like, what is it they eat? Like eucalyptus leaves or something, isn't it?
That is just like koalas.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, that's your sloth fact for the day.
Sloths also, they're so immobile that plants actually grow on them. Like algae and moss just grows on their fur.
That's kind of a win if your food grows on you.
I don't know if they eat it though, to be honest.
They're
quite cute, sloths. I don't know if you've ever seen one in person.
Well, but I think that's also a valid survival tactic these days. It's like your survival often depends on how cute you are, rather than like your actual ability to, live.
How likely a human is to put you in a zoo.
Well, exactly. Like, think about like, I don't know, dogs. Like they're kind of fucking useless now, but we bring them into our homes and feed them, so they kind of won.
All it takes though is for like, you just need to like let a dog go wild and they just revert right to what they were within like a generation. Like,
but would they survive? Is my question.
I think they would actually. I think stray dogs are right. Like if you ever,
yeah, that's true.
Like if you go to like fucking like Greece, for example, there are just like stray dogs that do fine.
It's cats in Greece, isn't it? Aren't there just like stray cats?
There are a lot of cats as well, a lot of both, to be honest.
I really hope this is getting cut.
No, this is getting left in.
Okay. Mayor's just gone AFK and stopped the recording.
I'm just waiting for us to do the outro.
We're showing our biology knowledge.
Yeah, limited and inaccurate.
Yes, good. Next month we'll be back with. Are we going to do the evil?
Yeah, I think the evil version will be slightly longer, but I think roughly similar length.
We could just never do it, just to annoy people.
I mean, I don't think they'll be that annoyed.
No,
I think they'll sleep at night.
Probably.
At least I hope they do.
Well, there we go. Another shit take. Oh, we have been your host. We're saying goodbye now. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
That was the worst goodbye we've ever done.
I think we say that almost every time.
It had no structure.
That actually was the worst one, though.
I mean,
I'll put some structure on it.
The worst one.
Yeah, put some structure on it. Let's give it some gusto.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, everyone. This was an episode of the hosts of B.
You're cutting out massively. I can literally barely hear you.
It's not your mic's fault. You need to take the auto voice detection off.
Oh, how do I do that?
In the settings.
See where it says auto voice detect. God, you're such a boomer.
I'm not a boomer. I just try and avoid doing stuff.
Technology.
Where is that?
In user settings.
Yeah, I've gone into
voice and video.
Yeah,
take voice activity off and make it push to talk.
Advanced voice activity is that one?
No.
Oh, you want me to go push to talk?
Yes.
Well, no,
Was
I want you to mute your microphone. If I'm being brutally
Excellent.
honest.
Before I press that, what button is push to talk?
Space bar
Well, when
normally.
when you click it, I don't think it's spacebar. When you click it, it'll tell you probably.
It's the one with the power symbol on it.
You have to press Alt F4.
Nice. This is great banter.
He's
oh my
just
fucking
disappeared. I
god!
can't find it. He's found it. It's not working anymore. Hello?
Is he talking?
Should we just do the outro?
Well, we nearly did it, but we realised we always did it with like a hilarious mayor impression, but then we realised you're the one who's in charge of Craig, so we were just been sat there.
I was
for
just sitting there waiting.
Yeah, we waited for like 2 hours, and we were just like, yeah, we should probably. Okay, so Onod's disconnected.
I made a terrible mistake.
Which
I
is
bound it to tab, and I pressed tab, and Discord freaked out because apparently that's also something else.
Why would you bind it
And
to tab?
Because tab's like a fucking useless button, isn't it? You never press tab.
No, it's not. It does so many weird things.
Then I bound it to space, and apparently that just makes my screen like go down. So I've had to unbind it from that too.
Just do it to like the full stop or something.
I've done it to the right arrow key. If you're interested.
There you go.
It's weird doing push talk because I've never done it before.
Well, now we can hear you without hopefully interruption by silence.
That's a great disappointment.
Hmm.
I'll do the outro now.
I miss it already.
Yeah, that's fair. Right. This has been the Hobby Breakfast Show. Your guests in order of appearance have been Onod, Mare,
Bye.
and OT. That wasn't the order of appearance.
That was so shit.
Why did you say order of appearance?
I don't know.
Also, we're not guests, are we?
We also don't appear.
I mean, it's increasingly feeling like you're fucking guests. You just fucking sit around chatting shit whilst I do the fucking hosting. Badly. I'm not claiming that I do it well. I'm just saying that I end up doing it.
To be fair, Mayor is the impetus for our entire pod. Wasn't that what one of the listeners said?
I believe that somebody did say that Mayor is in charge. I don't know what podcast they listen to. Is he fucking?
They just watch the bat reps.
That probably
that must be why.
Oh.
Just for clarification, Mayor does sit there just playing Dawn of War and occasionally chipping in when we prompt him to.
Yeah.
Well, now we've exposed ourselves as the charlatans that we are. We will finally do the outro correctly, and what we're going to do,
like the 5th time,
we're all just going to say goodbye, and it's
simultaneously
completely natural, and it won't be weird at all. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.